So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another week here at the RGM Experience podcast with me, Carl Maloney. How you doing? You all right? A podcast, ladies and gentlemen, where we delve into the grassroots music industry and beyond. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we've got Joel and Ben from Corella. Hey up, lads, you're right.
Oh,
Hello,
hi,
how's
how's it
it
going?
going?
Yeah, sound mate, you too. We join you in your studio recording album
Yes,
two. Exciting time.
yes. We're currently in the corridor of our studio, actually in Stockport.
Yeah,
We just moved into a new space.
yeah.
Yeah, we're cracking on with album two, cracking on with writing. Basically, we've had obviously the first album came out in May, which was amazing, and now we're trying to work out album two, which is quite interesting to be fair.
Yeah, I can imagine. So once you've had an album out, you're no longer a new band, are you? Really? We're in the corridor there. You know,
Yeah,
and once you've had an album out, does it feel a bit more like it's all serious now? Now you're going into album two than recording your first one. How's it feeling at the minute?
yeah, it definitely feels like I don't know, like with the first album, obviously, how when we released that, it felt like a proper campaign and made a bit of a move with everything. So it's definitely feel like we're putting the pressure on ourselves now to sort of step up the bar and follow through with it. But it's good. Like we like the challenge. And excited to see what comes next from it. To be honest.
Yeah, so the difficult second album then. How's
Yeah,
it feel? Because when I speak to a lot of bands, they do the first album, and it tends to be, quite a lot of singles that they've had out through the years, and they bet their favorite songs, and they put it together to release an album. And then the
Yeah.
second album is you don't seem to have as much time to bring out the second album and that kind of stuff. How's it feel in
Yeah.
Camp Corella? How's it feel for you guys?
I think like for us anyway, we didn't put any of the old songs on the first album. We
Right.
wanted to make sure
Yeah.
that it was all fresh material.
Nice.
So we did that. We did that pretty well. I think for the second album, we really want to push the boundaries a little bit more. We don't really want to stay in. We don't want to stay where we were in the first album. You know, we want to progress as a band in our careers as well,
Yeah.
and to push the music is the most important thing. And obviously, pushing yourself out your comfort zone is quite difficult, especially when you're writing. So yeah, we're just trying to get our heads around where we want to go as in a direction, and we're just there's a few teething problems, but I think we're in a good space,
Yeah.
especially with all the things we've got coming next year. We're super excited to get out on the road again. But now we've got the time until February to really get our heads down and write some music that's gonna hopefully just trajectory us into even higher.
Yeah. So how do you get yourself out of your comfort zone? Do you get other new people to work with, producers, that kind of stuff, or is it just amongst yourselves that you say we just need to do this? You know, a
Yeah, I
different.
think we annoy
Yeah.
each other.
Yeah.
We annoy each other.
But just there's a lot of different ideas that's not necessarily something we'd usually play and just experimenting with it, maybe in sort of incorporate different instruments, different sort of developments and like structures of the song, just stuff that we've not like trialed and tested before, just to see what sort of result we get from it, to be honest. But obviously sticking to sort of to what we know, but also just trying to alter it a little bit so it just differentiates from the first album and perks people's ears up, hopefully.
I think like sonically as well.
Yeah.
We come out with something that they've not really heard before, but it's still sticking to our roots. Obviously, we're a guitar band. We're into good melodies, happy feelings, but diving down those different roads that we haven't really gone down before. I think it's important to keep fans engaged, and for us as well, just to keep it fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's people bringing in kazoos and fucking harps and that kind of shit. And what's going on? What are you
Get a
doing?
little harmonica.
Just yeah, I mean we've got we're experimenting with like different like sort of pads, synth sounds and stuff like that. Sometimes slightly heavier guitars, more aggressive sound into some songs. Just like pushing everything in a sort of different direction. We've written a couple that like maybe 4 or 5 tunes, which is nothing like what we've written previously. Just demos and just sort of putting together, a sort of collection of songs, I guess, and then see where we go from there with it. But it's all like sort of quite new and fresh and experimental at the minute.
Is it causing any arguments?
Not arguments, just sometimes we don't, disagreements.
Yeah, but I feel like that's where we find
A happy
that's
balance.
a happy balance. Yeah,
Yeah.
if we don't push ourselves into these different directions, we're not going to get anywhere. We're going to sound like the first album, and we definitely don't want to do that. You see a lot of bands. Fair play to them. They stick to a certain sound, and it works for them. I think we've got that sort of sound there. We can push it. We can experiment definitely a little bit more. Even like the tracks on the first album, they're so different to each other, and I think that's what we want to do for the second one. Keep people excited, keep like I said, keep people engaged as well.
Well, when I were doing a bit of research, I was interested to see that you all kind of were like pushed together in at university, and you all met there. That's a different kind of path than what a lot of bands do. They generally grow up in school, or they know this kid who plays drums over there and that kind of stuff. Does it? So how has that helped or hindered you all being put together at a relatively older age than some bands? How's that been for you guys?
I think we believe in fate from that, because we moved to Manchester hoping to meet someone to get into a band with, and it was we literally got given it from our uni halls, and then from then on we've done some pretty mad things together, and we've sort of formed a bond which is very strong as well. It's been 6-7 years now. And we're doing things that we've always dreamt of. I come from Grimsby originally, and to be doing Reading and Leeds main stages and all these main stages, festivals, selling out tours. I felt like I had to move to Manchester for that, and I think I speak for that as well. And now we're doing it together. It's class.
And where are you from originally, Ben?
I'm from York, North Yorkshire, and then so's Thor, who plays the drums, and then Jack's from around Oldham way. But I suppose in those little pockets of the country, there's not really much of a music industry going on. So we realised when we got to Manchester, it's time to sort of turn the heat up and get cooking with some music. So it was sort of right time, right place, all with the sort of same goal, which I think is basically sort of kind of put us to where we are at the minute.
Yeah, we had Grimsby Boys Revivalry on the podcast.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we know them boys.
Yeah, did you have a little chat with them at Kendall Colwyn or something?
They came into the artist bit. They was absolutely buzzing to play the main stage, and for a young band like that, it's really fair play to them. They're smashing it.
Makes you sick in a way as well.
Yeah. No, it's honestly it's good to see, especially like lads coming from Grimsby. It's hard to get out of there musically, I think. Yeah, you've got to have the right people behind you, and I know the people from Grimsby definitely get behind their own. So that must be a good feeling for those guys.
I do speak to a few people that have come from seaside towns, and it is really difficult. And there's a lot of cover bands in those type of places, and there's not as many venues to be able to play your own stuff, because the tourists, that kind of stuff, they want to see cover bands generally for some reason.
Yeah, it's hard to break out, especially if if you're meeting the right people. Yeah. And you're forming a great band. Some people just want to hear covers, or some people just want to hear an acoustic guitar band at Seaside. But there's a band called Mint who they're from Grimsby as well. They was doing really well, and then obviously Reviver as well. And there's a few bands coming out as well. And I think that if you really do push yourself, get into these big cities, play the venues that you need to, you're going to climb the ladder.
Yeah, it is possible, isn't it? I've just been to Bridlington to this Feelings by the Sea gig, and just to have a wander around like an old seaside town that I've got a lot of nostalgia for, because I used to go a lot as a kid. But just walking up, it just must be so difficult coming out of a seaside town. I'm just fascinated with that, and just getting out.
Yeah.
What was it like in York then, Ben, for you?
It was progressively declining. There was some, honestly, there was a lot of venues, like obviously growing up, that then just shut as the years went on. Obviously, as you're trying to push a band, and there's no proper venues. I mean, there are venues, Fulford Arms and the Crescent, which are probably the only venues in York. It's either that, which are around 150 to 300, and then you've got the Barbican, which is 5,000. So there's no in between. There's no sort of industry really, I guess, that are at a higher level. They're great for grassroots, but if you wanted to sort of get more into the sort of commercial side of things, the opportunity wise in York, it's limited to a degree. So that's sort of, I was thinking originally I was looking at London or Manchester, but I wanted to stay up north. Obviously you got the whole culture and the scene, music scene up here, so it's got everything you could possibly ask for in terms of opportunities for a band. But yeah, the music scene is it's declining, unfortunately.
I think the venues as well, like what I was mentioning in Manchester, you can step up Deaf Institute, Gorilla, Academy 1, Academy 3, Academy 2, and so on. Whereas York, the jump is just so big that it's hard for bands to get up there.
Yeah.
So I think that's why in Manchester it's not easier, but
they can facilitate it.
They can facilitate it more, and those people can watch you from them small venues going up to the bigger ones.
Yeah.
It must be like a shock of lightning that you've all joined these halls and all all at the same, because you know I've been in bands in the years, and I've been in bands with people that aren't as passionate about it as what you are, and to find like-minded people that are, that must be quite special, really. It's quite unheard of that
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you hear about bands getting together and sort of doing a few gigs, and some of them drop out, some of them aren't really feeling it, or some of them are just not in the same sort of direction where they want to go in. But luckily for us, we all had the same mindset, and we still do now. Even more so, we're still hungry, and I think that we did get landed together, and it was very very lucky. We just want to keep this journey going as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. So one thing that I'd really love to see on your socials is when you posted that pic of you guys busking, and then a pitch at the side of it on a big massive festival stage. That I love seeing stuff like that and reminiscing about that kind of stuff. It must be nice to know that, you know, and inspire other people really to say, you know, it just to show that it is possible, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Busking, I think we'd all, I had, Joel had when we were younger. But then it's, you know, like even going to the festivals, I think first time I was there is 15, 16, watching bands on the main stage, thinking, how do I do that? Like they've inspired us to get there. And then obviously, you know, it's a big drag for us. And then it's come full circle, like when we are doing that. So like, you know, it's a bit of a pinch me moment thinking it is doable. But it is also very surreal, and obviously appreciate it, the entire thing. It's just a mad experience, to be honest with you.
I think it keeps you grounded as well. Like we have been busking, and we've gone the long way around, basically. Starting from the small gigs in Manchester where no one was there, branching out to different cities, played Newcastle to 6 people, played, you know, this is what people don't see. They sort of see this band come out of nowhere, and all of a sudden, you know, the favorite band, but they don't see all the shit that they've gone through. And I know that a lot of bands are like that at the minute. A lot of bands have gone a long way around, but you know, we're starting to see the benefits from it, which is why we do it. And we just set our stalls out even further now. We want to go higher. We've got dreams that we've still not ticked off, dreams that we have ticked off. But yeah, it's just about keeping going now.
Yeah, I love that. And you know, people don't see that you've played to, you know, these tiny little venues, playing to the bar staff or just to the other bands, and the graph that goes on behind the scenes. You're right, aren't you? You know, they see you now and they've jumped on board with it, but it's so hard to pick up fans out of town. You've just really got to just do it. Realize you're going to lose some money. Just go out and enjoy it and play to play the best you can to whoever's there, to just pick up 2 fans if there's 6 there or whatever. You know, you just have to do what you can do and just find it out sometimes, don't you? I do admire the fans, you know, just how hard it is and how what's the word I'm looking for? It must be, you know, really tough sometimes mentally to motivate yourself to keep going. But if you do keep going, there's a chance. There's a chance.
There is. That's what we always kept hold of. We was always thinking, you know, we'll play a Manchester show, and next time there'll be 50 people there. We'll play another Manchester show, then there'll be 250, and so on and so on. And now, obviously, we're doing how's it going? Yeah, right. Hi. And then, obviously, from playing Joshua Brooks to 7 people to now, you know, we sold the Ritz out, which was 1,500. And now we want to go higher. We dream about playing the Apollo, which is 3,000, and you know, even the arena.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love that. So, how does it feel to be a Manchester band then now? So, looking around us, who do you see out there in Manchester that I think, yeah, they've got a good chance and all? Is anybody that you?
There's a few.
I mean, there's a lad called Alex Spencer.
Yeah, I saw him at Bidlington. Good, he started. He started to do backflips at gigs.
Yeah. I mean, we saw. Where did I see him now? We was playing a gig last weekend at Neighbourhood Festival, and he was in the middle in a mosh pit, and he was like beaming, like waving. And I recognised him, and then I only just started listening to him. I think he's got a song called, I can't remember the name of it, but it's on FIFA. And if you listen to any track, that track is made for FIFA.
Yeah.
Whatever a FIFA track is, that is a track. But he's only 17. He's worked his way up. He's busking around Manchester. So that's great to see, like a lad like that just you know, doing his best.
Yeah, it's a competitive scene, I guess, in Manchester. There's a lot of good bands doing a lot of stuff at the minute, which is I kind of guess it eggs us on a little bit more to sort of to do just as much, if not better. But being a Manchester band, having that sort of label, I personally, especially when you're traveling elsewhere down to London, like it's proud to sort of be from the north and the sort of the scene, because it's kind of made us what we are, I guess, being a Manchester band. So
Yeah,
we'll happy to take that label.
I had Alex on at a RGM gig that we did at Basque in Stockport.
Oh, yeah.
Probably about a year ago.
Yeah.
See his rise. You're right. Big shout out to Alex. We've had him on the show. We're going to have him on again next year. Just to see how much he's developed and as an artist. And I do worry about the backflips that he started to do on stage, but each their own.
I mean, I tell him to stop that, but I jump into the crowd and crowd surf every fucking gig, so I can't say anything.
Fair enough. Yeah. So recorded album 2, album 1 came out. What was the experience of having an album out for a new band? How did that sit with you all?
It's a big point in a band's life, in our career as well. We wanted to put something out there that we was proud of. In the background, someone's opening the door. We wanted to just do something that we was proud of and put together a body of work that we thought, yeah, we're happy with that. And it was quite a scary thing. We self-released it, which was quite stressful. Made all the videos ourselves, did everything DIY.
Yeah.
But it was good to give it to our fans. We've released so many singles in the past, and to group some songs together and call it an album is, very, very, very proud of the outcome of it.
I remember we were talking about it. I remember watching an interview from probably like 2017. I think it was Lending Rooms in Leeds, and the person who was interviewing us was like, "Oh, an album anytime soon?" And we were like thinking, like we're looking at, so maybe that was 2017. Obviously, I think now, fast forward another 7 years, whatever it's been, it's definitely come at the right time. I feel like the songwriting has definitely stepped up from where it's previously been, and to have like an actual album, like a sort of body of work that you from start to finish we're proud of. I feel like that was the aim of the game, which I think we executed.
And to have a vinyl in your hands,
physical.
That was so nice. And like I was speaking to the Ratings of 6 months ago, something a year ago. It's probably longer. I can't really remember now, but they told me about some of the things. You can't just be in a band these days. You've got to learn how to video edit. You've got to do your own videos. You've got to graft. You've got to learn all these skills, haven't you, yourself to do it.
Yeah, you don't just focus on the music now. There's all sorts of goes, and it's such a competitive market, especially with social media, TikTok as well. You can see a guy put one song on and get hundreds of thousands of followers, and then that's it, boom. But we've done it organically, I think, and we've gone the long way around, like I said. I think we're happy where we are at the minute. Like I said, album 2 we're writing for now. So
yeah, one question that I love asking bands is, talk us through the rest of the lads that aren't here. What's the strengths and the weaknesses? Let's go around each band member and give us the strengths and the weaknesses of each one for us. I love this question.
Who should we start with?
Let's start with Jack. I think, Jack's the guitarist.
Yeah.
His weakness is he's too good.
Okay.
He's very choosy, very picky.
I'd say he's too good because he can be too perfect at points, which is not a bad thing. But he's amazing at picking out a lead line. I'm not going to say iconic. I'm not going to call Lauren tunes iconic, but Barcelona Girl, those lead lines that people sing back, I think he's really good at picking those out. Yeah. Do you want to do 4?
4.
4's the drummer.
Yeah. 4's strongest point. He's got a really good attention to detail for simplicity of the songs, like breaking down parts and like progressions and the development. Like I say, maybe take this section out and maybe get fast forward it to to the next part, keep it moving. He's got a really good eye for that.
In the studio as well. One take wonder.
Oh yeah, we get in there. He literally sets his drums up. They press the red button and the record. He does it in one take, and then he's asleep for the rest of the day.
Nice. That's all you need, though, as long as that one take's there, isn't it? That's it. Done.
Yeah. Are you gonna?
What's? I don't know. You can say. I don't know.
A strength and a weakness for them both. So that's his strength. What's his weakness?
Oh, Paul's weakness.
Oh, is it the sleeping thing? Oh,
probably the sleeping. Yeah,
sleeping in the studio.
But that also might be a strength because he sleeps everywhere. Yeah. I mean, like absolutely everywhere. I guess let's call it a weakness. But there's no weak points, I guess. But if there was, I guess he's a sloth. He sleeps all the time.
Well, what are you going to say about each other then?
You go first. Don't make me blush.
What shall I start with? Your weakness?
Whichever one you want.
I don't think you got a weakness, to be fair. We disagree on things. different styles. Quite stubborn, I'd say. Quite stubborn.
I'm stubborn.
Yeah.
I'm stubborn. So are you.
But I think like obviously the strength is me and Ben can sort of come together, and if we get our heads together properly, we can come up with some really good tunes.
Yeah.
Obviously Ben's good at on top lines as well. The melodies for a song, stripping it back to its bare bones and actually playing a song on a guitar and making it sound good. I think.
Yeah.
Could set you up there.
How long have you got here? How long have you got?
You guys, as long as you have.
Jules, I'd say you also have obviously in a constructive way quite stubborn.
Mm-hmm.
He puts his foot down, but also it pulls through, which is a good thing. But it also just takes a little bit of molding sometimes. So that's fair enough. The strong points are that you can just pick melodies out of nowhere as well, like just catchy stuff that just like falls into his head straight away, and then we run with it, and that'll be sometimes the first melody that we goes on the track, and then I'll have to sort of put some lyrics to it. It'll just be
waffling shite,
spitballing. So I guess like looking at everyone's strengths and strengths and weaknesses, combined together, all thrown into a pot, it kind of
it's all positive.
Yeah, it all works out in the end.
Yeah.
So like track listing for albums, is that kind of stuff you bicker about? Is that ever a thing between you lot? Set lists, whatever whatever list.
Set lists. Yeah, I mean, we're all very much on the same page with it all.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that we don't really bicker, but we have disagreements about what sound should go where or what guitar bit should go where. But this is just like intricate sort of things that every musician goes through anyway.
Yeah.
But I think like all our weaknesses, they form a positive at the same time. Being stubborn and being like, no, I think this is right. That can go a long way as well.
Yeah.
So I think everything that we do together is a positive.
It's all you just trust. I think it's just trust, isn't it? Like what each other are doing and what each other think, and then just run with it.
Yeah, I mean it's the unknown, isn't it? Like we're in a band.
No one's wrong, no one's right.
Yeah, exactly. We're just doing this. We've all got the same goal, basically. We've all got the same thing that we're striving towards, and I'd be more concerned if we was just like rolling over and we were like, yeah, fucking sound, do whatever. So I'm glad that we've all got this thing about us where it's like, no, I think it should be this way.
Yeah, push back on it.
So I think it's all positive.
Oh, I like that. And do you get time to do anything away from music, either of you?
Yeah, we do. We just
Mallorca 2 weeks ago. Went to Mallorca for 4 days, and it pissed it down.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
It was fun. Yeah, it was nice to get away with us because we haven't done stuff like that in a while. Previously, we've done a few bits before. Like we'll go to watch gigs and stuff like that, or go up for a bit of food. But or sometimes we've gone and hired like a little Airbnb somewhere in the countryside, take some guitars and see what happens. But yeah, I mean, it's, for years now, like we're in a band, but we're also like best mates. So outside of the studio and away from the guitars, we're all still sort of knocking about with each other and
beers.
Yeah,
a lot of beers.
A lot of beers. Yeah, we like beers, don't we? Beers are good.
We do, mate.
Drink responsible, everybody. I'll be the responsible, and drink responsible if you're listening, watching all.
Yeah, drink responsible, please, people.
Yeah, of course.
So what's coming up then for Camp Corella? What's on the horizon? What can you tell us about? I presume there's a lot going on that you can't say.
Yeah.
But, what can you say?
So we've got the Cirque Waves tour in February. We're going to go across Europe and the UK as well. Out there with Peace as well, which these are two bands that we used to listen to years and years ago. We used to watch them at festivals. So to do that is pretty mad. And now we're just getting some festival offers coming through as well, which is very, very, very exciting. Mm-hmm. We're going to be spending a lot more time out in Europe, I think, next year. So yeah, and just obviously what I said, continuing writing. But there's a lot of exciting things that we can't obviously say.
Yeah.
But the things that we can, obviously, Cirque Waves, and we're going to be in Europe a lot more as well.
Yeah, whilst writing the second album as well. They're the three main things that are kind of the band's focusing on at the minute, which is kind of enough on our plate, I guess.
Yeah.
and I saw that you announced that you've gone part-time as well. So the less that you do at work, you can spend more time in the studio and do the band stuff.
Exactly.
That must be a transition in your life as well to just to not work for the man, I suppose, and do the thing.
We're very transparent about that sort of thing. We've worked for 5 years leading up to the band. Like we've been grafting 5 days a week, but now we've had the opportunity to drop down to part-time, where we can spend obviously more time in the studio writing and even like on festival weekends where we'd play on a Sunday or whatever, we've still got the days in the week to sort of focus on the music, which is the most important thing. And it's sets us up with a lot more free time to do what we love doing, which we're very lucky to say.
Yeah, it's the holy grail, isn't it? Making a career in the music industry, and it sounds like you're making gradual steps each week, month, year to get
Exactly.
to that stage where you can get rid of working for the man and just do this thing full time. Does that look on the cards?
Yeah, be your own boss.
Is that like in the plan for in the next couple of years to be that way?
Yeah. I think by the time we get this second album out and wherever it goes and whoever we release it with, by that point, ideally we'd be looking at full time. And not even just because of obviously the financial side, only because we're so busy. We do really need, at least 5 days a week on this, just so we can keep up to date with all the jobs and stuff that we want to do aside from the music as well as the music. Like, there's so much to do that there's not enough days in the week for it, especially if you're working. But that is the goal. I think, I said, come second album, we're retired in some kind of mansion.
Retired, yeah.
In LA or something.
Barbados somewhere. Starting with an acoustic.
Have you got somebody physically organising these things for you, or are you doing it all yourselves?
So we've got a really good team around us. We've got management in LA, which is mental. They look after System of a Down, Deftones. So that's just another conversation to be had. But yeah, so we've got those guys. We've got a great booking agent. We've got a great live team as well. So, and then our team around us, like who come out on the road with us, they're constantly around us as well. So we've got a really good solid base. We couldn't just do it with us four. I think we'd go mental. But we do all the artwork ourselves. We source a lot of things. We do all of our socials. We reply to fans. So anything that you see online is just all us. It comes from us, no one else. So, and I'm proud to say that we can do that as well.
Yeah. Do you mind me just asking a little question about that LA connection there?
Oh, yeah.
Did you say manager there then?
Yeah.
How do you get a manager in LA?
Well, it's so weird. So we was going through a bit of a shitty phase with some old management about 4 years ago. And then Velvet Hammer, they messaged us on Instagram and it went through to requests. When it doesn't really come up on your page, but it comes on your requests. So I just clicked on that and then it came up Velvet Hammer saying, "Have you guys got management?" I just sort of brushed it off because we get so many messages like that. And then I actually did some deep diving into Google, typed in Velvet Hammer, and then I saw 6 bands that they look after. So there was Deftones, Korn, Avenged Sevenfold, System of a Down, Alice in Chains, which are these like huge heavy metal rock bands in America, like stadium worthy. Thought this was just like a wind up. But then messaged them back, and it was a guy called Mark Wakefield who actually started Linkin Park, which is fucking crazy. And then so he just they were super interested in reaching out to a band in the UK, and they heard us and they played it to their office in America, and they all loved us. And then 3 years later, we're still with those guys, and they're pulling in all sorts for us. So we're very grateful to be on there too.
Yeah, they've put us through to like a lot of very good contacts. They kind of coincided with the management. They then got us the agent, which is Josh Javer, who's WME now, and then the whole circle, the whole network around that, literally just through the management, which has been really, really, really helpful for us. That's exactly what we needed. So like Joel said, 3 years ago, since sort of linking up with these, like we haven't looked back.
Yeah,
but yeah, they're in LA.
Keep a look on your inboxes, lads, and bands out there. Jesus, that's many, because I just know from our Instagram page or all the socials where you get people asking you for interviews on Twitter like me, don't you, now and again, and all that kind of stuff. That's how it's at. But it's lovely to see that you do your own socials, because I do feel like a band can suffer from not having their own voice on these things and just being quite clinical with somebody else doing the socials.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to keep it authentic, and if it come from us, because and then it's direct engagement, obviously with fans. So I think showing a bit of ourselves and what we do, and just appreciate what the fans are about, because obviously they appreciate what we're doing. So it works both ways.
They just want to see us like as humans. You know what I mean? Like they connect with us in just as a human way. They just want to know what we're up to, and if we show our personalities, people love that. We don't want to put this fucking screen up and be like very black and white. We want to come across as normal, genuine people. And I think we do that on stage as well. Like with the music, it comes across. I think that the live sound is just totally different to recorded as well. We just sort of like let loose. I think people just want to see that, which is very important as well.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And I've worked with bands before that didn't like doing the social stuff, so they just never did it. And they asked me to do it for a bit, and it just didn't work. I tried to do, trying to show the best sides of them and that kind of stuff, but you can't show anybody somebody else can't show what you're like properly, can they? So you just need to grind it out. Just need to grind it out. Yeah, that's good too.
Yeah.
So just before we let you get back in the studio and crack on with the studio too, a hot topic of today. We reshared an interview with Paul Heaton when he were talking about how he manages ticket prices and that kind of stuff for these big gigs, and it's got hundreds of likes and retweets and stuff. People have really engaged with it, and I was just wondering, how do you guys? It's just a hot topic at the minute, so I'm just asking a few people. How do you feel about the cost of live gigs and seeing it from both sides, as the artist and the fan? How do you see the situation with ticket prices at the minute? And fucking fees.
I think that to put any gig over £200 is fucking disgusting, to be fair.
Yeah.
Personally, that's what that's not saying from the band, but for me personally, I think that's just disgusting.
Too much. People will pay it, but that's just too much.
Yeah, and obviously we're from working class backgrounds. Some kid is going to miss out on watching their favorite band because stupid fucking VIP circle, which gets you a tote bag and a fucking t-shirt or whatever. I think it's ridiculous, but we are a working class band, and for us, that is important to keep tickets where we can at minimal. Obviously, the production comes in, the hiring of the venue, all of that is fair enough, but to boost another fucking zero on a prize on a ticket is just I think it's just ridiculous.
I feel like looking at what kind of level the band's at, I think the price of the ticket also needs to match that. Grassroots bands or bands that are a little bit more local, they're not going to charge an arm and a leg, but whoever does buy a ticket is also investing into the band. So I feel like those grassroots bands, it's nice to be able to invest into them. Obviously not charge too much, but then obviously you've got like Taylor Swift or Beyonce or whatever, and you're paying for, there's just too much money in that. Oasis, I know there's a lot of different prices with their tickets, but it is a big cash cow for massive bands like that. So I see that side, and I wouldn't necessarily encourage it, but then at the same time, whatever money does get put into the bands is obviously an investment. But I can see both sides.
Is that managed by your booking agent, your pricing costs and stuff like that? How does it materially work for you guys? You've said it yourself. You've got to cover the higher costs. You've got to cover your tour costs. You've got to you've got to pay yourselves. You've got to do whatever you need to do.
I think for us, it's like a natural progression of, obviously, like what Ben said, from grassroots, you're paying £8-9 to watch a band, and then you're going up to like it was then anyway, but then you're going up to like academies where you maybe do 25. So that's where we're sort of at now, which is just a natural rise. I mean, I'd pay that money to go watch a band that I really love, because they've obviously, we know how hard it is to come up with the songs, and the touring is very tiring. You need to cover yourself as well, so happy to those prices fine. When you get to like arena levels, again, fine, but it's just like when these huge artists are sort of taking a piss out of fans who supported them at them grassroots levels, where there was paying £8-9, and now it's 10 times that.
First thing's the fees, isn't it? All these bullshit fees, that extra £5-7 for each ticket, even though you're buying it online. It just I'm just going to try and sort that out somehow. But anyway, but thanks. So it's Joel, Ben, thanks for joining us for a chat today. I've loved getting to know you and being excited for the new album and the tour with Circle Waves. Within the description of this podcast, there's a link to get involved with the tour and that kind of stuff, guys. So, and is the album on pre-sale yet? Or is it still too soon for that?
Oh, album 2 is not even a thing yet, but album 1 is very much on sale.
Yes. Oh, yeah. It's only been since May, and I'm thinking like May just feels like 100 years ago now. It's just weird how time changes, isn't it? Yeah. So
it's still very much in album 1 phase.
It's fair enough.
So
download the first album, get involved with it, get on tour, check the bands out. And Joel and Ben, leave us a message for the fans of Corella that'll be watching this. Leave a message for them. Just leave a message for them. I don't know where we're going.
Yeah. Well, cheers for listening. Anyone who's a Corella fan, thank you so much. We obviously love you, and we'll see you on the road very soon.
Nice one. Have you got out to say, Ben? You got
just reiterate that. Cheers for the support. Cheers for coming and getting behind us. Plenty more to come.
Nice one. Well, really enjoyed speaking to you boys. You get off back to your studio, crack on with that amazing.
Yeah,
nice one. Cheers, Carl.
Yeah, really
nice one, mate.
Cheers, pal. Thank you.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my little studio. We're just having a look around. This is where I record loads of good chats. And you know that already because you've just finished one. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed it, have a look around. Look at this. There's different videos all around here. New videos that you can enjoy too. I promise you it'll be all right. Nice one. Thanks for tuning in again, guys. See you soon.